Iran war is now hitting the global economy. Oil prices have surged. Shipping through the Strait of Hormuz remains badly disrupted. And governments are scrambling to secure fuel supplies. India has refused to open up strategic reserves at the G7 meet. Yes, Delhi is feeling the pressure, but so is Trump. He is now saying the war will end soon.
Called it an excursion. You said it would be over soon. Are you thinking this week it will be over?
No,
Are you
but
talking
soon.
about days?
I think soon.
Okay, and with respect
Very
to
soon. Look, everything they have is gone, including their leadership.
Hi, I'm Chandni Jain, and here are the top developments on day 11 of the West Asia conflict. The group of 7 nations say they are ready to act if oil markets worsen. Finance ministers from the G7 held an emergency virtual meeting after crude prices spiked. They discussed using strategic oil reserves to calm the markets. But France, which holds the G7 presidency, said the members are not there yet on the coordinated stock release. Gulf producers are already cutting the oil output. Saudi Arabia has started reducing oil production. Kuwait, Iraq, and the UAE have also scaled back. The result is tighter supply and higher prices worldwide. The war of words is also intensifying. US President Donald Trump has warned Iran against stopping oil flows through Hormuz. Trump said Washington would hit Iran 20 times harder if Tehran blocks the route. At the same time, reports say that the White House is considering options to cool the oil prices, including easing some sanctions on Russian oil and possibly using emergency crude reserves. Iran, meanwhile, has warned it will not allow 1 liter of oil to be exported from the region if US and Israeli strikes continue. Some EU nations are also moving war assets into the region. France says it is deploying nearly a dozen warships, including its aircraft carrier group, to the Mediterranean, the Red Sea, and possibly near Hormuz. For India, the economic risks are rising fast. India imports about 85% of its crude oil and remains highly exposed to the global price shocks. Analysts say the jump in the crude prices could trigger an extra $7 to $8 billion in foreign exchange outflow every month. That could widen the current account deficit and increase inflation pressure. Axis Bank's Neelkant Mishra has warned that a $50 rise in oil prices, if sustained for a year, could wipe out more than 2% of India's GDP. Indian refiners are already responding. Reliance Industry has bought at least 6 million barrels of Russian crude for the March delivery. The fuel squeeze is also showing up on the ground. The Petroleum Ministry has ordered Indian refineries to raise LPG production for domestic use. Household LPG supply has been prioritized. A 25-day gap between bookings has also been introduced to prevent hoarding and black marketing. Imported LPG is being reserved for critical users such as hospitals and educational institutions. The centre has invoked the Essential Commodities Act to regulate the availability and distribution of petroleum products and natural gas. But commercial users are already under strain. Restaurants, hotels, malls, and factories in several cities are reporting LPG shortages. The National Restaurant Association of India has warned that any prolonged disruption could lead to catastrophic closures across the sector. There is also concern in the fertilizer sector. Industry officials say that stocks remain adequate for the upcoming Kharif season. But they warn that gas supplies to urea producers have been curtailed by up to 40%. Now, if the conflict drags on, that could hit domestic fertilizer production and raise import costs. So the war is no longer just a battlefield story. It is now an oil story, an inflation story, and for India, a direct energy security story. If the disruption deepens, the economic fallout could spread much further.